what's good, y'all? Welcome to my review of this week's episode of the Junji Ito collection. Overall, this episode was really good. Now, one thing I want to talk about, I know guys, you guys probably tired of me talking about random shit at the beginning of these videos before, instead of just, talking about Junji Ito, which is probably why a lot of videos are over 20 minutes long. So yeah, but let me just talk about that. As you guys know, a few days ago, Metal Gear Survive release. And as you guys know, fuck Konami. Now, as you guys also know, I refuse to buy this game. I refuse to buy it used. I refuse to even put this in my PS4 because this game is obviously just a cash grab, and I refuse Konami to give Konami any of my money. And when I heard about the save slots fiasco that you actually have to pay microtransactions to get extra saves, I was like, oh, fuck you too, Konami. Fuck you too. I have no idea how much this game is made. I haven't seen any. I've looked up some sales to see if there's any sales figures that have been released of how much the game has gotten. I haven't really found anything. I hope this game's made next to nothing, because I want this game to be as much as a failure as possible, and I want Konami just to put Metal Gear on ice and just not touch it, leaving it dead in the ground where it belongs after Kojima let it pass with MGS5, the Phantom Pain. That's where it should end until, by some miracle, PlayStation manages to buy Metal Gear from like Konami, and they just give it to Kojima. They should just let Metal Gear rest, and let it just rest in peace. So yeah, want to talk about that? About fuck Konami and Metal Gear Survive. Also, Avatar just got announced that it's getting released on Blu-ray. Hell yeah! And also, we've also got a release date for Tokyo Ghoul Season 3 which will be following the manga to the manga. Be airing in April, of course, and with the rest of Spring Anime on Tuesdays, I believe. And like I said, I will review this. I'll still review the series. I don't care if it's aired on weekdays. I really like Chi-Chi, so yeah. Okay, so now. So yeah, with all that out of the way, also there's the Crunchyroll Anime Awards tomorrow, so expect a reaction to that. With all that being said, let us begin on this week's episode. So the first short story opens up with our MC, Risa, kind of just, staring blankly at the camera, and off screen we have her fiance, boyfriend, I don't really know what to call him, because later in the episode they talk about how he proposed to her, and she said yes, but she's suffering from amnesia, so I guess it's technically, okay, let's just say it's his fiance, and I'm guessing he's talking to his mother. This is when, I'm guessing, when he first notices that she had amnesia. She's like, kind of like, Risa, and then she's like talking to her mom, and she's like telling like, hey, I saw her on the way to call her, but she doesn't seem to remember me, she doesn't seem to be acting strangely, and while they're talking, they kind of like, the audio kind of like slowly fades out, like an echo kind of thing. And actually, throughout the whole, this episode, or at least this first short story, the main character, her fiance, her boyfriend, whatever, like, his face is like, like, the art animation for him looks a little weird. Like, sometimes he kind of, like, when he, like, tries to start talking to her, he kind of looks like he's facing directly at the camera. Like, he looks like he's right, and also just the way he talks, like, his mouth movements and everything, it sounds off, but I think that might have actually been done as an artistic choice because of what goes down later on in this short story. So, after that, we kind of get back to her, and she's kind of like, and she's having like this nightmare, or she's like, at her desk, and she sees this big ass, huge caterpillar covered in hair, and she's like, she's like, and then her like fiance, I'm gonna just stick to call him his fiance, her fiance. So he kind of like, man, like, blah. They're kind of like talking, and then he kind of like, no, why don't you take a walk outside? Being in this dark room all day is probably what's making you see shit. So, they go out. So they're kind of like having a little walk, and then he tries to like, try and make some small talk. So like, yeah, you remember the time? He's like, by the way, I love you. And then he starts talking like, oh, you remember the time I first told you that? And she's like, no, I see. And they talk about how scary it would be if you were suddenly to lose your memory, suffer from amnesia, blah, 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 blah. So eventually, he brings her to his house. I'm guessing they're not living together. I'm not, whatever. So, he brings him to his house, and then we find out that his father is very ill, and he was an. This is the part where I was talking about where we first see him. He kind of looks at her while he's talking, but it looks like he's facing directly at the camera, or at least directly at the screen. So it looks a little off, and like I said, the art animation for him looks a little off, but I think that might have just been done as an artistic choice. Because we'll go down later now. So, he starts up like he used to be a successful author, but he doesn't really write anymore because he's really sick. And then, they go to his room, they're talking, and then his father shows up, and he kind of walks in, and he doesn't walk into the room like a normal person. No. This is Junji Ito. So of course he had a weird ass entrance that looks like something out of a Japanese horror movie. So he legit, this old ass man in his PJs starts crawling. Well, I guess not really crawling, starts dragging him, he kind of he's or crawling with his feet, where you kind of put your feet forward and then you gotta push your weight to move you. Then essentially what he was doing, like a caterpillar or a snake slither, I guess, or what's that one animal that goes goes up and then goes back down to move? I think those are slugs. If I might be at something else, or maybe those are actually caterpillars. I don't know. Anyway. So, he's oh, and then he starts his face, and he starts midway, right around the point where his face almost leaves the door. So his face is kind of low-key kind of covered by the door a little bit. And he's talking about, I don't have much time left, Risan, take good care of my son, blah. And he's stop, she has amnesia. And he's blah, 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 blah. Oh, well. I guess I'll leave you two. And then slithers back out. It's so weird. And so then we get back to his place. So then she goes back to her room or her place. Her mother shows up, and then that's when he says hey, your fiance, I forget his name, is outside. He's hurry, get over there, and he's like, Risa, come with me. My father's on the brink of death, and he asks to see you. Come with me. And she's like, but, and then he just grabs her hand, and just runs towards his place. So he gets there, and this is when this is when you realize, oh yeah, this is a Junji Ito short story. So we see him, and there's layers of skulls or top parts of their heads, essentially where their brain is, essentially on top of his head, forming the caterpillar that she saw in that, I don't know, illusion, vision, whatever you want to call it. That's when he starts seeing, and there's, just stacks of it. Oh, yes, that's my great aunt, that's my great-grandfather, that's my great-great-grandfather, that's my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, there's my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grand-aunt, great-great-great-great-great-uncle, you get the point! So, and then she's like, oh, hell no! And me, I was like, the power of Christ, the power of Christ compels you, blah, blah, no, exorcism shit. So, and she's like, son, I don't have much time left. You need to have an heir so that our family bloodline will continue. So, because he explains that all those skulls, like I said, are all his previous ancestors, and when they get to the brink of dying, I'm guessing they take over those skulls and they get all their memories that the previous ancestors, they gotta get them all, so they all have a constant flow of information from generations ago, kind of, I'm guessing. And so his father's and he's I'm sorry, yes, I will, father. And so she's trying to run out of here, and then she trips over more of the heads, because yeah, there's it extends pretty far out in this place. So then she's and then it sounds I will not let you go, Risan. You will marry me, and we will have a child, so that I have an heir to take this shit. And so she's she ain't having this shit, so she's running. Then eventually, before he starts chasing after her, his father starts he's runs over to him, and then he's that's when he dies, and you see part of his skull kind of with blood coming out. And then that's when her fiance takes on all those heads or brains or whatever you want to call them, And so he's like, now he has that on his head. And so, they're finally like, oh, why, you should have done this sooner. You can't literally, because it'll be harder for you to find a wife, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, you shut up. So then he, like, chases after her, and then, or, like, starts going after her. And when he chases after her, it's like some straight up ring shit. No, this is some straight up, like, grudge shit. Like, I mean, she's like, and Kayako, and, yeah, Kayako, I'm trying to think, wait, which one was it? Like, yeah, Kayako from, like, the Grudge movies, or I guess Juan, if you want to get technical, just crawling on, like, those stairs, and she's like, it's something like that. He kind of, like, rocks like a crab or something. It's like, yep, this is Japanese horror types. So, and then it kind of just ends kind of, like, ambiguously, almost, kind of, where she kind of, like, where we're just looking right at her. She's like scared, and then he says like, "Oh, we got her. We will now have an heir. This will hold us over for a while." So it looks like he got her, and that I guess raped her. I guess I don't know, but it's like, I guess so you don't know if she actually did escape, or if she didn't. I mean, I guess it kind of says that she didn't escape, but it's like that case where you don't get a clear enough answer to it. And that's the end of the first short story. It was actually really good. Okay, so now the second short story has, I guess you can call him RMC, kind of. Well, he's the one that's narrating it. This kid he's like walking, he's like running up these steps to the circus. This is the first time the circus has come to town, because, this is kind of like, kind of like, non-popular town, so more like nothing much like Ridgecrest here. Like, literally nothing happens here. There's like literally nothing here. We don't even got a KFC here in Ridgecrest. Anyway, so he's like, I'm surprised that even come to this part of town. And so, the Grandmaster, the guy in the circus that's always wearing the hat, that has a black hat, the suit, usually always has a mustache of some sort, with his cane, being like, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the circus, blah, 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 blah." Now, but this guy has, like, some, like, major creep factors. Like, you could tell, like, there's something off with it, because he's always covered in deep shadows. You could tell there's something off with this guy. So, we have these clowns. We first start with these clowns all, bouncing on these balls and they're moving, and one of them lands, like, head first, like, directly on his head, and then I'm guessing his neck breaks, or maybe it was just from the trauma from, landing on his head, and then he essentially dies, which is kind of, this story had a lot more of, I guess you can call it a dark comedy feel to it. I guess it kind of had more of like a dark comedy feel, because some of the ways these characters died was kind of funny. So I guess you could say it's more of a dark comedy feel, like the first short story we had in the first episode. And so after that, they're like, what's the hold? And the grandma's like, what's the hold up? Get him out of here. So, like, the rest of the other two clowns kind of like, drag him out of like, and get him behind the stage, behind the curtain. So we get to the second one, and where, we get to see, I guess the main heroine, I guess you can call her. I forget her name. But she kind of like her trick, which is like, walking on a tightrope. So and then the MC's like, "Oh wow, that's her." And then he's like, "I know she had something to do," because like, we get this quick flashback to when I'm guessing he was in like school or something. I don't know. And he saw her on like, on like this rock island just chilling. And so, so after that, after she's on the tightrope, and then, and then we get to the next one, whereas the three guys, stacked on top of each other, the three tower, they're going to be walking, bounced on the same tightrope, and there's no net to protect them, so it's just hard concrete that's waiting for them if they fuck up. And so they fall, and then the clown, and then he's like, "What's the hold of? Get him out of there." And now the way they run, it looks like there's like a few like key anime friends, because it's kind of like, they're like this, like, they kind of like have like their anime where they have their arms up like this, like about to start running, but then the next time, but you don't see them like, moving their arms together. It's kind of like, it like jump cuts to them moving their other hand, like jump cuts get like, or maybe I don't know if that was something that was, I don't know if that was just a video I was watching this episode off of that was a problem. This was actually like, I don't know, like, cause like maybe there was some actually that art animation would for weird things I noticed in the episode were not artistic choices. Maybe it was just maybe lazy, or just lack of budget, I don't know. So yeah, they get him out of there, and then we get on to the next trick. So then we get to the next act. The rematch announcer was like, knife wielding, knife throwing Joe. So it's like, those tricks you say, like they got like there's one person up, hold back with like like I guess you can call it like a T shape or yeah, T shape. They're just catching on there, and the guy who's throwing the knives has to make sure that they don't hit him. So he like throws his knives, doesn't hit her, and then he's like, "What do you think, Ringmaster? I'm the standout act. I am going to marry the woman up on like the tower that did the tight roping thing. That's in the pink dress." He's like, "We'll see." He's like, "Nanny, you still got some knives?" And he's like, "Damn, Loris, just what?" And this, so he gets one, and then he gets another one, but this time he actually hits her and kills her. So, yeah, so I was like, okay, now there's really something like 3 people dead. There's something off here. Like, it was like, then he does like one more thing, and then he gets down on the floor. Okay, he gets some knives and throws them up in the air and kind of hopes they just don't hit him. So yeah, this is just pure luck, as like trying to like appease, trying to get the Grandmaster so he will end up like being like the standout act to marry the girl. And so then hits another one, which hits him like I think it hits him like in his neck or on his chest or maybe it was his head. But anyway, it kills him. So then the clowns come again, drag him out, and then we get to the next one. This is when it starts getting kind of funny. Where the next one is like this strong man that breathes fire, but this time he just catches on fire. So they get him out. Like, so I start kind of laughing. This is ridiculous. And then we get, and that's when it's like, this is when the episode starts real good, because then it just gets to like a quick montage of the circus, the Ringmaster kind of like, here are some other ones, and they're just getting eaten, like, there was, the strong man, that got, caught on fire. Then we get the Beast Tamer, and he's getting eaten by a lion. And then we get like a couple extra ones, and then we get to like around the end of the episode, where it's like it almost reminded me of like Nightwing, because as you guys know, or if you guys are Batman fans, you guys know that Dick Grayson, Nightwing in the first Robin, his parents died from a circus accident, because they were doing trapeze act, I think it's called, like where they're swinging on like those where they're swinging around, they kind of like do flips and shit, that a performance, I guess, and because I was like, okay, you're not. I was like, okay, Junji, you're a Nightwing fan. I see you. And so he's like, and then she's telling him, like, Mario, don't do it. I love you. He is a demon. Don't do it, Mario. He will steal your soul. It's like, I love you. And then starts, and then he like, the rope starts kind of like, like I guess, I don't know, like starts ripping itself apart like it happened to Nightwing's parents, so he falls to the ground, he dies, and the last clown, or at least the one that's remaining, says, "Hey, well, it's like oh no, all of these tragic accidents. Does anybody care to join the circus? Please, we need news, because with all these tragic accidents." And the last clown's like, "Psst, let's go while he's distracted. Come on, you say he's a demon. Let's go while he's distracted." And then the last knife a knife that knife wielding Joe threw that actually landed on like the pillar where she's at. It's like and then it falls off and hits him directly in his chest. And that's pretty much where the episode ends, with like Grandmaster saying like join our circus. You get to marry her. Blah 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 blah. That's where the episode ends. Overall, really great. I really dig these short stories. The second one was just really funny. Like he said, it was like wild beast tamers getting eaten by a lion. So yeah, guys. So yeah, my final for this week's episode is a 9 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram if you like. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.